name's Elise Fox, and I'm your Kids Venue Director here at the Venues. Thank you so much for being here today. We're glad that you're with us. If you're new and you want to connect with us, please fill out a welcome card at thevenues.org/connect. And if you have a prayer request, you can submit that there too, so we can be praying for you throughout the week. You know, there's dozens of ways to stay connected with us. You can download our Church Center app. Just go to your app store and find Church Center app. Once downloaded, you can select the venues and see all the great things that we have going on. You can also connect with us through our Facebook, website, Twitter, Instagram, and our weekly newsletters. Thanks again for being with us.
Prepare him room, and heaven and nature Hi friends, if you are looking for a simple way to give back this season, we have something called Lights of Love, which you can find on our website. It's super user friendly. You can get on there and choose between a child in foster care, an elder in a care facility, a furry friend in the shelters, or a family. You can choose between any of those to support and give a Christmas this year. So there are different price ranges, and you'll be able to see all of that on our website. We do have several spots left.
We still have a total of 55 left to sponsor, so we really need your help.
Yep, and our deadlines are approaching in the next few days, so if you could, where can they find the link, Rob?
Click in the comments below.
In the comments below. Hello, friends. We come with some news that I am refusing to share, so Ben will be the deliverer. Ben?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, friends, we have been monitoring the health and general welfare of the community since March on like a daily basis.
Yes.
Don't you feel like, Shai?
It's been taxing, yes.
And we have made the decision in the interest of keeping our people safe that we are going to have our last Bar Church live session
In person.
this Thursday, December 10th?
December 10th, this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Don't forget. But then moving forward, we are going to do all online services for Thursday nights. So you can still find us on our Facebook page as well as our website. But this week will be your last week to come and join us. We'll have live music still, obviously masks and distancing required, but I think that we're kind of just all sure that this is what is best for us and our people here and the people who aren't here but are in our communities. So.
We'll keep it good. We'll keep it fresh. We'll work week to week to bring you content that's interesting and to try to find ways that we can stay connected and that actually inspire you to get on with us at 6:30.
It'll be relevant to you, we promise. So
It'll be good.
Stick around. We'll miss you guys, but we'll see you online.
Hi everyone, my name's Joey and I'm the creative director here at the Venues. One of the reasons I love the Venues so much is our commitment to helping those in need in our community and loving our neighbors. We can do that through helping those who need food or our unsheltered friends who might need hygienic items, or partnering with other organizations across our community to help those in need. But another thing that we do here is provide a place that's safe for people to question their spirituality and just generally ask questions. And most importantly, we have a place where you are welcomed and accepted and loved unconditionally. So if you like what the Venues is doing, please support us. Please consider donating. And one of the best ways that you can do that is going to thevenues.org/give and setting up a recurring donation. So please consider doing that. We love you, and we want to help you love your neighbor as well.
Have you ever grown frustrated over the way things are? I think we all have during this season of COVID. Well, a guy named Charles Wesley also grew frustrated. In 1744, Charles Wesley was reading the text from Haggai chapter 2 and verse 7, in which the voice of God says, "I will shake all the nations, and the treasures of all the nations will be brought to this temple," where from that temple God would distribute them justly to all the nations. Well, Charles Wesley read that in light of what was going on around him. And he was brokenhearted over all of the orphans that were in his city and the lack of care that was given to them. He was so frustrated about the economic injustices and the class divisions in Great Britain. And then he read that passage from Haggai chapter 2 and verse 7. And out of that verse and out of his frustration over the way things were and his desire for justice and for fairness, Wesley wrote this song, "Come thou long expected Jesus." We want a Christ to set things right.
Come thou long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free from our fears and sins. Release us, let us find our rest in thee. Israel's strength and consolation, hope of all the earth thou art. Dear desire of every nation, joy of every longing heart. Come thou long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free from our fears and sins. Release us, let us find our rest in thee. Israel's strength and consolation, hope of all the earth thou art. Dear desire of every nation, joy of every longing heart. Come thou long expected Jesus, come thou long expected King. Born thy people to deliver, born a child and yet a king, born to reign in us forever. Now thy gracious kingdom be, by thine own eternal Spirit rule in all our hearts alone. By thine all-sufficient merit, raise us to thy glorious throne. Come thou long expected Jesus, come thou long expected King. Come thou long expected Jesus, come thou long expected King.
Jesus was what Israel was promised, but Jesus was not what Israel expected. We are given each year, as promised, a Christmas, but this particular Christmas, 2020, is not like the Christmases that we have expected in the past. A COVID Christmas is going to be a different Christmas. As you see on this picture, Santa Claus is wearing a mask. Santa's helpers are wearing a mask. Santa is physically distancing himself. My new favorite ornament this year that I just bought is Snoopy. And this is Snoopy on our tree, and Snoopy is wearing a mask. Even those around the Nativity are wearing a mask. There is definitely a cloud over a COVID Christmas. Loved ones have been taken by COVID. There is, in our country, financial insecurity, food insecurity, the inability to travel. We can't play our family football games. Even the Radio City Rockettes had to cancel. This is the first year that they have not had a performance since 1930. 33. Yes, Christmas is very different this year. And so we're looking at a series called A Very COVID Christmas, and the teaching today is based upon the idea that we are to expect the unexpected, because a COVID Christmas, we know it's coming, but it's an unexpected Christmas. So Christmas is coming, but Christmas this year is not what we've grown to expect. And in fact, neither was Jesus. Christ, in the person of Jesus, came as promised, but not as expected. Israel expected a warrior. They got a baby. Israel expected someone to kill their enemies. What they got was someone who is killed by their enemies. And that takes us to our text today, in which Jesus is playing the who am I game with his disciples. Here's a text in Mark chapter 8. They said, after Jesus asked, "Who are people saying that I am?" John the Baptist. Others say Elijah, and still others, one of the prophets. Now, John the Baptist and Elijah they're dead. So I'm not sure if there was some kind of a belief in reincarnation, but whatever, people were saying that Jesus was John the Baptist or Elijah or one of the prophets. And then he asked them, "But who do you think that I am? Who do you say that I am?" And Peter answered him, "You are the Christ." And then he warned them not to tell anyone about him. Then Jesus began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders, chief priests, and experts in the law, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. Well, the verse goes on, and we read that Peter didn't like what Jesus said. Peter got the title right, the Christ, the Messiah, but he got the meaning of that title wrong. And when Jesus starts talking in this passage about the road that he's on leading to the cross instead of leading to the throne, the scriptures say that Peter rebuked Jesus. And then it's kind of funny, Jesus then turned around and rebuked him back. I kind of like that give and take. My question to you is, do you have the type of relationship with Jesus in which you could rebuke him? Sounds like a little sacrilegious, but I like that relationship that Peter had with Jesus in which he could do that. Well, then Jesus kind of creates an image of the Christ, of the Messiah, that does not fit the image that Peter had. Peter had this image of the Messiah, maybe the same image that a lot of us have of God. We want a strong God. We want a God who will heal all of our diseases. We want a God who will fill up our bank account. We want a God who will guarantee our security and will ensure that our military will win all of its battles and our sports team will win all of its games. But the truth of the matter is, Jesus doesn't fit that definition of a Messiah. And Jesus did not follow Peter's advice. In fact, Jesus goes on, and Matthew records that Jesus referred to Peter with this word, Satan. The translation is, "Get behind me, Satan." It's almost like Jesus is channeling the church lady from Saturday Night Live. Could it be Satan? But if you look at that word a little bit deeper, what you will discover is this. The Hebrew equivalent of the word that Jesus used in referring to Peter right there does not mean devil at all. In fact, it's not even a proper name. It is a Hebrew word that literally means an adversary or an accuser. So Jesus is not calling Peter the devil incarnate. He's just saying to Peter, Peter, your way is not my way, and your way is not God's way, so get out of my way. Get behind me. Right now you are in an adversarial position of my way. You're standing in the way of my way. Isaiah chapter 55 prophesies in this way. God says, indeed, my plans are not like your plans, and my deeds are not like your deeds. That's really what Jesus was saying to Peter. Jesus had to teach Peter and the other disciples this lesson, that their view of the Messiah did not fit the actual Messiah over and over again, because the disciples and the generations before them had this particular image of what the Christ, the Messiah, would be. They saw the Messiah as one who would kill all the bad guys, not one who would be killed by all of the bad guys. But Jesus showed the disciples, and he's showing us a new ethic. He's showing us a nonviolent way to deal with our enemies. Jesus shamed injustice by suffering injustice. Jesus showed that revenge and violence are silly, that they are counterproductive, and they're just wrong, by himself becoming a victim of that violence and revenge. You know, we all have a strong drive to hold on to existing beliefs and perceptions and views, and letting go of those views and those ideas is like letting go of a rope. And if we let go of that rope, we're going to be pulling a wily coyote. We're going to fall off the cliff, and that's a scary thing to do. So to avoid falling off the cliff, sometimes we hang on to the old that we have been told because we feel secure. Even if that rope is wrong, sometimes we still hold on to it. So what false perceptions and views and ideas are you still holding on to? What perceptions do you have that need to be challenged and changed? Just like the perception of the Messiah needed to be changed that was held by Peter. Let me give you a couple of examples. There's this whole thinking among some evangelicals, some Christians in the West, of Jesus being white. It's a thing. There's an evangelical leader by the name of Eric Metaxas, who tweeted last August that Jesus was white. Now, this is a highly respected man, a very intelligent man, an educated man, but he actually said that Jesus was white, and I don't know where to start with that. I don't know where to end with that. While there's no physical description of Jesus in the New Testament, I think everybody recognizes, every scholar knows anyway, that Jesus looked like a Middle Eastern brown-skinned Jew. And the fact that we hold on to a picture of Jesus as being white says a whole lot about us. And what it says is not really very good. Well, close to Jesus is white is this thing about Santa is white. And the truth is this. The original Santa was St. Nicholas of Asia Minor. And Santa, St. Nicholas, probably looked more like this than the Coca-Cola Santa that so many of us in the West seem to embrace. I was watching the news yesterday, and I saw that Hershey's chocolate company is in trouble. Back in 1989, they had this commercial with Hershey's Kisses. And all these Hershey's Kisses are they've turned into bells, and they're all ringing the song, I think, "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And it's been a hit. It's been a good commercial for 30 years. Well, this year, Hershey's changed the commercial a little bit. And after the Hershey's Kisses were ringing the song, Christmas song, the commercial cut into a father and a daughter making cookies out of the Hershey's Kiss. You know those cookies where you put the Hershey's Kiss in the middle of the dough. Well, there was a Twitter storm. People just went absolutely berserk because Hershey's was messing with a tradition. People did not like the change. They were holding on to this old way of doing things, this old image of a Hershey's Kiss. And that's a pretty superficial illustration, but I do think it serves to remind us how hard it is for us to let go of things. We have a hard time letting go of a commercial involving Hershey's Kiss. Well, Peter had a hard time letting go of his image of the Messiah. Are you having a hard time letting go of some of the things that you were told were true? Some of the things that you were told were right? It's hard, isn't it, to let go of cherished ideas? Well, COVID has brought to the surface another example, another view of Jesus that needs to be challenged, that needs to be changed. The fact that people do not social distance and do not wear masks when those measures are proven to be effective against COVID and the spread of COVID is frustrating, but it's not new. Go back with me to the 1600s bubonic plague in England. In England, in Christian England, the importance of physical distancing was common knowledge, yet the authorities were having a hard time getting people to follow the recommendation to social distance. One of the reasons was this, that people who had a strong religious faith believed that their faith was enough to protect them from the plague. And so they disregarded what the authorities were saying because they believed their faith in God was enough to protect them from the plague. And so in 1603, the Church of England issued a condemnation against those who run desperately and disorderly into all places and amongst all persons and pretend our faith and trust in God's providence, saying, if he will save me, he will save me, and if I die, I die. The modern day equivalent to that is this woman who was interviewed in her car outside of the church that she was attending. She said this, I would not be anywhere else. I'm covered in Jesus' blood. All these people go to this church. They could get me sick, but they're not because I'm covered in his blood. 55% of Americans with religious faith believe that to some extent their faith in God is enough to prevent them from getting COVID. And because of that, there is among them a hesitancy, or if not just an outright refusal, to social distance and to wear a mask, to do those things that medically and scientifically are proven to prevent the spread of COVID. Yeah. Our resistance to safety measures is not new. And the reason that we are resistant is not new. Maybe that is a view that needs to be challenged. The view that our faith in God negates our need to follow science and to follow medicine. So this year, as we face an unexpected celebration of Christmas, we need to understand that this offers us the opportunity to open our hearts and open our minds to new ways of living, but maybe new ways of thinking, new ways of believing. I listened the other day to a news broadcast in which the pastor of First Baptist Church of Dallas, Texas, Robert Jeffress, made this statement. He says, I am listening to God, not to the World Health Organization. I believe that's a view that needs to be challenged. That's a view that needs to be changed. What view of Christ, what view of God, what view and perception and belief do you have in which this season of a COVID Christmas encourages us to alter? So as we're looking at a COVID Christmas, expect the unexpected. As we face an unexpected Christmas, let's let it teach us to embrace the unexpected Christ. Let's let it challenge our views and maybe change our views. Let's let it loosen our grip on some of the things that we have believed so that we can hold on tightly to things that are new. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.
The snow's coming down. I'm watching it fall. Lots of people around. Baby, please come home. The church bells in town. They're singing a song. What a happy sound. Baby, please come home. They're singing deck the halls, but it's not like Christmas at all. I remember when you